Hey guys, Jen here. Just doing a little simple video. I figured I'd get this out there about how I'm feeling and kind of some of the stuff that's been happening since the beginning of September. There's a lot of different things going on. Some stuff I'm not privy to, other stuff I'm really happy about, as with life in general. Alright, we'll start with the stuff that I'm excited about, and I'll probably be going into the stuff I'm not so excited about, and then it'll probably turn around because I always see the silver lining in things. So, things that I'm not, I don't know, that kid just waved. I was like, I don't even know who that kid was, but I'll wave back, whatever. So there's been a kind of, whoa, wasp, no, sorry. The wasp's like, no, I might have to actually move. The wasps are kind of in my metal railings here, so we have to kind of figure that out. And my dog's in that window and my cat's over here, but you can't really see her. I mean, I got tinted glasses, so I can't really see. But anyways, so basically there's been a lot of issues. We all know the political climate is really, really tough right now. If you know me, I follow a lot of the astrology stuff. So Mars just went, retrograde. So it's going backwards in the sign of Aries, which is its home sign of anger, frustration, short tempers, chaos, revolution, that kind of stuff. So what we'll probably be seeing a lot now is that stuff flaring up now in the polls. People are going to be wanting to push their opinions on you. They're going to be thinking that their opinion's the only way. They're going to try to trigger you. They're going to want you to fight back and to get involved in all these verbal arguments and things. It's going to be very interesting. It is also a catalyst for getting out short-sightedness. So if, like, even myself, sometimes I'm very short-sighted, depending on my views, of how people are not realizing that they are on their path, and if they don't want to see it, it's fine. It's their choice. I'm not supposed to make them see it. I'm just supposed to deliver the information, and they can do with whatever they want. Because I get lost in the idea of I have to, like, be like, dude, you guys need to see this. You need to understand this. And I think that deters from the actual idea of being able to have the person wake up for themselves. So there's a lot of that kind of going on, and I've seen it a lot in a lot of these spiritual people that I was following that I had to actually kind of distance myself from, especially one that I used to follow. She's gone extremely political now, and usually if you're a spiritualist, you can have your own political opinions about things and all that stuff, but you don't call other people out for not being awake and not following one person and saying that if you don't follow this person, you're not a spiritualist and you're still asleep and stuff. That never goes very well. And to be honest, if you're a spiritualist and you're above that, that's ego-centered. So if you go and you tell them that, you know, they're doing this and they're doing that and they're not awake because they can't see it, you still need to work on yourself. I mean, I've seen that with, well, a couple of situations I've been in where I talk to people and realize that these people aren't exactly as aware of things as I am, and I figured, I'm like, okay, for them to wake up, they need to wake up because they're going to go down this path and they're going to end up getting into some shit that, you know, wouldn't be nice and pleasant for them, and I don't want them to do that. Because I know how bad, I mean, my own shit has been, and I would not want them to go through that kind of stuff. But it's not up to me. It's up to them, and they have to see it for themselves. Case in point, my younger brother did a video, and yes, I'm putting this out there. So Eric, if you're watching it, too bad. I watched yours, you get to watch mine, or you can block me if you want to. I don't give a shit. Sorry. He did a video on his DID classification or whatever, which basically just means it's dissociative disorder, which I've known about. The girl he used to date named Vera, who I was friends with, has it. Probably still has it. It's a daily thing. She's had it all her life, pretty much. She's had it since she had a it ended up triggering for her from a traumatic experience, okay? So, I've known about it for a while. Now, the thing is, usually when you're like that, the person has it right along. Even, they don't just stop, usually. Or if they do, the personality that you know is different from the other personality they show somebody else. Which, okay, fine, I get that. Usually what that means is that there are different personalities of yourself that have split off to form their own personalities because you yourself, as a whole person, feel lost and the trauma got triggered, whatever. Bailey, if you're watching this, you probably know more about that stuff, and you can probably comment because you work with people with this kind of classification and different things, and crisis management and things like that. I'm not privy to all that necessarily, but I have had dealings with it. So anyways, to the point. He started calling out my older brother and me and my other older brother and even my father to the degree of the fact that we didn't understand. Hold on a minute. Kathy's here to pick up something. I don't want her knowing that I'm here, because then it'll screw up this whole entire thing. I'll have to turn it off and do all the other stuff. We'll see. Hold on. Ooh, I got stress marks. Just bear with me for a sec. It's alright. There's a cat. Meow. You can see my kitty. Where's my kitty? There she is. She's in the kitty. And then Cody is over here. Right there. The coat is there. So she's picking up her soup. She left soup when she came over to help Grandpa out. And she's coming in to pick it up. So she just put it back in her car to pick it up. And Cody's all like, no. So now she's backing back out. And I'll be able to continue this. Alright, good. The only reason I did that is because she likes to talk, like, a lot. So I didn't really want to get involved in talking with her right now when I'm doing this. Anyways, going back to the point, he called out my brother and my other brother and my father and me for not understanding him. Now here's the difference. He's saying that he's had it all along. Now, I've lived with him all of my life. We were really tight when we were kids and everything. If he had had it all along, I would have known. Partially, if he just recently developed it, I understand that point. But usually if you just recently developed it, it's because you went through a traumatic situation, which ended up making you feel like you had to split because your one true personality you didn't feel was safe to be out there and show people. At least that's my gist of it. I don't know. I don't have a degree in it or whatever. But he said that we were never supportive and all this stuff. Well, sure shit we were. We've always been supportive. It's just when he got with this girl that he's with, she ended up having a split personality. He told me about it, the fact that she's got this sexual other personality thing out there. And that basically he couldn't sleep at night. There was weird things going on. She would fight with him sometimes and all this other stuff. And then she would say that she was pregnant, but she wasn't. And she, like, all this other stuff that was just, we were checking it out and it wasn't true. And even my sister-in-law ended up having to get involved. And she's had 3 pregnancies, so we all knew about this. And he just wouldn't listen to us about the truth and about how we saw her manipulating him. And I was even his payee for a little bit there, and I saw how she was using his money to manipulate him and things like that. So that's where all the stress and issues came from for that in the beginning. And then now, since he's been over there, he hasn't been eating very well. He's gotten way worse with his weight. He's got apparently sleep apnea, and he hasn't been putting on his machine, or he's had this issue or that issue. Basically, he's not really taking care of himself. And he's got their kid that, you know, ended up moving in with them, and all this other stuff that's causing stress on him. So if he does end up having DID like he says he does, which he might, I don't know, it's because of the stress of being over there that exasperated the condition, okay? It's not that he's had this all his life, like he's toting and being, like, acting like he's the victim. He does have fetal alcohol syndrome, which makes him not be able to understand a lot of the reality that's going on and not being able to compute stuff. And sadly, that's my mother's fault for drinking when she had him. And sadly, that's what he's going to have to live with for the rest of his life, because that necessarily can't be cured. But what can be cured is the fact that he can try to make himself a lot better by losing weight, by not feeding into all this, you have this disorder, you have that disorder, you have this, because that all has to go back to the idea that you're not true with yourself. You're hiding something from yourself. You don't feel like when he was here and mom was here, mom, you know, she did do her part in not making us feel 100% sometimes, where like we didn't feel safe doing a lot of stuff. And it, I mean, not safe in like self-confident type of thing. Like she would always be like, well, if you don't do this, then, you know, it's kind of like emotional, verbal manipulation type of a thing. So she never really let us be us when we got to the adulthood, because she was like, you need to get a job, you need to do this, you need to have to do this, da 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 da. And whoa, butterflies, guys, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, they went that way. Well, they were like right above my head. That was weird. I wish that would have been on camera. That was kind of cool. Butterflies usually mean new beginnings. So that's cool. And I'm actually gonna go, oh, he's gonna bark. So I'm gonna go onto the front porch because I'm getting really hot right now. Whew. And so anyways, this is gonna be a long video. So if you want to tune out, I totally understand. If you want to catch the replay later, go ahead. But I need to get this out there. So, oh, that's so much better. It's a lot cooler, but the sun helps make you happy and stuff. We've accepted him and the fact that he wanted to be with the girl and she kept him, you know, basically in par. But the fact that he did a bunch of other stuff that I'm not going to say on here necessarily, that also his story is only one-sided, and everybody knows, everybody's, you know, got three sides of the story: your side, my side, and the truth. It's usually in between. But I just wanted everybody to know that if they saw that video, it's not 100% truth, and it's fine if he wants to, you know, sit there and play the victim and say nobody understands and all this stuff. When I sat there and I helped his ass out when he cheated on Renee and he ended up leaving and cheating on her with Sarah, and I went and picked up his stuff and bent over backwards and took the day off to help him out and did all that stuff, and even Dave Klorowski, his other friend, helped him out the one time when he said he couldn't handle Renee anymore and her stress and stuff, and then he was gonna leave her, and all this stuff, and the fact that he comes over to Dan's at like 3-4 in the morning and talks, and we talk to him and we talk him through stuff. So to tell us that we don't understand and we're not there for him, that's just like a slap in the face, personally. I feel. Yes, we might not agree with what's going on with him and that he could be handling it a lot better, but we're also not going to sit there and push him and hold his hand and like save him every time he jumps into a position where he can't handle things. I mean, he chose that life that he chose, and that's fine. We don't have to agree with it. We don't have to accept it. Nobody has to accept that stuff. He's fine. He's doing his own thing. He's, you know, part of it, I do believe, is also because he's on disability, and from being the POA with him for a while, and trying to help him, not POA, payee for him, and knowing that they were abusing the money, and not using it the way they should be, and I stepped down because I did not want to get in trouble by the government to see that, because that would have come to me. So he became his own payee, and the fact that, you know, all these things that they're just not logically doing what needs to be done, you know, if you want to do that, but that's fine, that's up to them, that's their life, but they also have to live with the consequences of it. So if you're saying that you have this disease and that disease, because I really personally think it's because they're trying to milk the system and get more disability so they don't have to get actual jobs and all that other stuff. Yes, you might have issues, but to me, that personally, saying that you have that when you didn't really originally have that, and saying that nobody's there for you and supporting you, puts a disservice on people who actually do have that disease. Puts a disservice on the people who actually have lived with it for most of their lives, have had trauma, and are working through it, and doing what they can, and being diligent about it. And I don't think it's fair to those people who have that for him to be spouting this shit, because he feels bad that nobody's supporting him. I get that. My family threw a freaking wrinkle in my life for a little bit there, and shit happened, and I got all upset and stuff too. But these things happen in our lives for us to realize what is in our lives that's not good for us, you know? So anyways, that's that part, okay? So that got me really upset when I was watching the video, and I was shaking to the point where I was just like, no. And I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm like, this is my truth, and I need to speak it out. Because if he's speaking out, I need to correct his misinterpretations. because if he feels that way, I'm sorry he feels that way, but it's not the reality of it. And for the fact that my father actually had to actually yell at him one time on the phone because he was getting agitated, and this basically the alternate personality that we're concerned about is this anger personality that comes out. He said it's called Lou, and every time he's here, like, and he gets agitated, he, like, flips out. Now, I was here the one time with Pearl, the aide, and I was showing him upstairs, and he was all fine, and then he didn't like the fact that we didn't agree with him on certain things about Renee and how she was handling things and how she was lying to him, and the fact that he never has privacy because she's always on the phone or behind the phone, or anything that he says is basically what she says. So he lost his identity that way, basically. So, and that's partly because he cheated on her, which, you know, all things cause whatever. And I just saw an actual post saying that he's all sad and stuff now too, so I don't know what happened on that end, but the point is, whatever. So basically, I'm just like, no, you don't get to go out there and start playing the victim and putting yourself as this person that doesn't have all this stuff when you're getting all this stuff. You're getting like upwards of $1,000 a month from the government, okay, for doing whatever you want, and then you get a car, which is fine, finally you get a car, but then you use the money to go and play, to go and do stuff when you had to be using the car. And then, you know, the fact that my father had to actually yell at him at one point because he was getting crazy and belligerent, aka his altered personality, Lou, I don't want that here in front of Gramp. So that's what he's trolling about. He's talking about how the fact that he's not going to be threatening, you know, Gramp. He's not a threat to Gramp. He's not this and that we don't understand, and that Mom and Gramp understood. Okay, first of all, Gramp's got Alzheimer's and dementia, so there's no way in hell that was real, and that was in his head. Mom might have placated him and said stuff like, okay, I understand. Now, granted, the stuff that he says about Mom wanting him to live life and do that is fine, but the whole reason behind that was he told me and a couple other people and my brother Rusty that he wanted to go on this trip to a strip club and to Hooters, and that Mom said that he should. Now, there's no way in hell my grandmother would have said that, because my grandmother still blames Europe for making my uncle gay. Okay, that's how far behind her thought patterns were. So there's no way that would be true. I mean, maybe he heard her say, yes, you need to do something, you need to get out there and do that. Go to things like maybe possibly a baseball game, or possibly a sports event, or go with your guys and, like, do some guy things, you know, that kind of stuff. But not, like, being okay to go to a strip club and all that stuff. Like, dude, she wouldn't even let me date until I, like, actually started dating this guy when I was in 2014, and I had a curfew of 11 o'clock to come here, and I was 32 years old. So yeah, she's extremely old school, and she would never say that, ever. Like, he might have thought she figured that out, but whatever he says, like, and all of us know that. Even my boyfriend guy, he would even know that. And, like, and everybody I talk to know this. So that's fine, and he can have his altered view of things, which is partly because of the fetal alcohol syndrome, because it changes his reality reality, basically, to the point where he doesn't understand the rationality of it. He's not, and then when you counter him and you try to talk to him about it, he gets angry, and that's when he says this Lou personality comes out. So you can't really get through to him, because then he starts getting belligerent and he just shuts down because he doesn't want to hear it. And partly that's because also he knows it's the truth, because he's trying to get people to bamboozle people somewhat. Not inadvertently on purpose, but just because it's just he feels bad, okay? So he's got a lot of internal work to do, and he's working on it, and Renee has been good for him for that, okay? I will give you that. So we just basically stay out of his bubble for a while, okay? We just, like, you do you, whatever, but then when you start shouting shit and, you know, saying this Lou personality's out, and then you flip like that and you can't control it, that's when we're gonna be like, yeah, if you're gonna get like that and you're gonna say you can't control it, we're not gonna accept that, and we're gonna have to do things to keep our people safe from that. And if you say that it's not safe and nobody's scared, when you got up in my face the one time, and Dan's face, and apparently even my father never yells at people. Like, especially from our history of abuse and stuff, he will not go to that point unless he has to. And the fact that he had to defend us against Eric and his manipulated tactics, and the fact that he's I don't know what's being said over there at his house about us, like, not accepting him and stuff, probably from the other family or her or whatever. I don't know, whatever. None of our business. But then when you told it on Facebook and things like that to make us look bad, I'm going to say something in defense, because that's just not cool. So that's what that is. And I don't care, Eric, if you decide to block me like you did last time, or, you know, do another video saying that we're not, you know, supporting you and stuff, when I supported you through all of your girlfriends who said that you were manipulating them and all this other stuff, and then coming at me and saying I'm not supportive of you. That's like a slap in my face, bro, and that's not cool. And I will tell you what's what. As your older sibling, I will put you in check. You don't have to like it. It is what it is. But don't blame it on some DID thing because you don't want to own the responsibility of your actions, okay? That is unfair to the people who actually have DID, and it's not right. And I will stand up for those people who are actually suffering with the DID classifications. And, you know, you might research something on, it's like when I used to research all these diseases on, oh, I might have this condition, oh, I might have that, as a hypochondriac. Okay, I get it, I own it. But I stopped doing that because I'm not playing the victim anymore. I mean, all he has to do, Eric, all you have to do is just be like, oh, you don't have to accept my reality, but don't go floating shit out in public, whatever, saying that your family's not supporting you when we are. Okay, if you don't want us to support you, fine, we won't support you if you really want it that way. That's your choice. But don't be telling other people that we're not supporting you when we are. Okay, we might not be supporting you the way you want us to, but that's how life goes. And you're an adult now, so you have to do what you have to do. You're not here helping Gramp. You're not here helping me. You haven't helped us with Gramp for a long time. That was your choice. You chose to be over there. And you can say that you didn't have a car and all this stuff, but we could have picked you up and we could have done this and this and that. And you didn't want it. If you wanted to go to your talent show in December and all this stuff, and you went over and had a vacation in Ohio, or well, not in Ohio, wherever you went, you know, and all that stuff, and then you said that you didn't want, no, I'm done, okay? And this is why it gets to this point. Anyway, I'm getting too personal with this. So anyways, Eric, enough of that. 2, the fact that Mercury retrograde is going to be coming in next month, okay? And we have Halloween on a full moon. Isn't that going to be crazy? And it's right before the election series, too. So we're in for a lot of upheaval and kind of like shaking of your routines and things like that. So that's another thing that I'm kind of like, but it is what it is. It's the way the universe works. It's the change in the system. It's the cycles, how life works. Life, death, you know, transition, blah, blah, blah. 3, Gramp is okay. He's pretty good. He's actually more self-sufficient now than he was originally. He can actually get up, get his own food, do all that stuff. With me taking care of him here and helping him learn to be more individualized and independent, it's helped a lot because he was relying on Mom way too much. And I've got him finally out of that. So he can get up in the middle of the night if he wants, because he doesn't really sleep. He's got like that sundowning or whatever, where he just gets up in the middle of the night and gets something. As long as he's okay and I don't have him tripping over the wire or whatever, he's fine. He's good. He seems to be a lot better. He is just kind of existing, though, sadly, because he doesn't really have anybody to, he doesn't really know that he's existing either, though, to be honest, because he's kind of like in his own head type of a thing. Like, he watches the TV and then he's like, okay. But he does know that his birthday's coming up, so that's cool. I do like that. That means that it's there. It's good. So unfortunately, he's like, he asked me last night, we're gonna go out to a restaurant if we can? And I was like, unfortunately, no, because then you have to wear a mask, and it's all just, I don't want you out there with all that stuff, especially going into the winter season. I'd rather just have pizza and chicken wings here, so that's what I think we're gonna do, and he loves pizza and chicken wings, he's fine. So I'll do that. And it's not like he needs anything, really, besides just being here, so that's at least okay, that's good. That's released my stress a lot. I did end up having different issues with different people. So life's kind of like, we'll see a little bit here, a little bit there. Working on myself as well, working on the other people. So it's just kind of kind of interesting with that. Now on to the stuff that's good, okay? It's like 25 minutes of bad stuff, or weird stuff, and then good stuff. Alright, so 2, I joined Color Street. Like, I joined, like, up with making these, because now I have nails because of all the stress from Mom is no longer done, so I have Color Street now. So, this is, Bordeaux Blue Glitz, or something? Or something, I don't forgot what the color this is. I didn't think I was actually gonna like it, but I do. They're just nail polish strips, and it's quick, easy, and I've always kind of wanted to do my nails, but I never had them, and now that I have them, I'm really excited. So I'm waiting on my order to come in. It's got like Space Case, which is like this teal color, if you know me, like I'm all excited about that. And I'm already getting commissions off of stuff as well. So that is also helping with financial stuff here at the house, which is awesome. I still have to pay my other stuff. I'm still at Sherwin-Williams part-time. I did look for other avenues because they were threatening to kick me out. So, of course, I put my applications in other places. I have heard back from one company, but I'm still waiting for the second interview to see about that. So we'll see where that goes, hopefully, because that'll make it so I'm remoting from home, and I got 30 hours a week at $15 an hour, so that's awesome. So that is going to be really, really awesome if I get that. So I will get that. I'm really going to get that. It is a seasonal job, though, so we'll see how the universe works with that. 2, the weather is really good right now. Now, when it's cooler, we did have to put the heat on, and Grandpa was a little bit off but beyond that, it's actually really, really good. I'm loving it. Like I said, I had to stand out in the sun because vitamin D helps. And we all know Western New York weather is going to get, like, cloudy and blah, and you don't want to, and I know sun's coming in this way. 4 or whatever, I'm working on my crock pot. I'm really being hardcore, as diligent as I can with the gluten-free. Hence why I have not gained the weight back. And it was mainly because I was emotionally eating due to the environmental factors at the house and the emotional manipulation. So now that I don't have that, I can actually be a lot better and do what I need to do for myself and not have to worry about all this other stuff. So that's really, really awesome. The other thing that's really good, there's a bunch of other stuff. So like I said, you have to do the silver lining. You have to see the silver lining of it all. Yes, the silver lining of Eric's is that he's just going to have to learn. He can think what he wants. That's fine. It's sad. It really is. But we will not put up with that kind of stuff, and he doesn't have to like it. Gramp's still here. If he wants to be nice and not flip out, he can visit Gramp all he wants. Nobody cares. But the moment he gets agitated and belligerent and that Lou personality comes out, nope, out, buddy. Even Renee knew it because when he was here that one day, and he had done this thing upstairs and he was getting all in my face, and he said, "You're not talking to Eric, you're talking to Lou." And I'm like, I went like whole like exorcist on his ass. And I'm like, okay, fine. I don't care who you are. And I'm like, you can be Sam, Joe Bob, Billy Bob Thornton, who knows what. I don't care. But you do not, or you're not in this house with that kind of attitude and going up in my face and being like, he like gets like this. And he's like, and it's all like, no, we're not going to have that here. You want to calm down and become Eric again, that's fine, but we're not going to have this altered personality thing. And Gramp, we're not going to put it in front of Gramp, because Gramp's not going to understand what the heck's going on with you anyway. And if you say, like in your video, that it flips on like that as a trigger, I can't feel safe knowing that if that's the case, you are not going to flip out and turn into that alter ego here and start flipping out at something Gramp says to you because he doesn't remember something or he doesn't believe in you. Now, granted, Gramp wouldn't do that because Gramp is very easygoing, mellow. He could care less about the opinions of other people. He's always been that way. He's so far gone right now, kind of, that he won't even remember it from like today to tomorrow to 15 minutes later. That's like him. So, but the fact that, I'm not going to have that around here. And, if he wanted to do it on himself, that's fine, whatever. You can go and handle your stuff with your friends and do all your stuff. Be you, do you over there. If you can make sure that you're not going to flip into this specifically Lou anger personality, that's fine. You can be here. Other than that, no. It's a safety thing. and I've seen the Lou personality, or actually what it was originally before it turned into a personality, was the fact that it was just him getting angry that we didn't agree with him and that we wouldn't listen to his irate crazy talk. We tried rationally to talk to him. I even met him after Mom died at a restaurant to talk to him, and he was actually getting belligerent in the restaurant in front of customers, and I was all like, no, we can talk about this outside in the parking lot if you want to kind of get you loud and, you know, emotionally upset about it, that's fine, that's your prerogative, but we're not going to do it here eating our meals in the middle of a restaurant. And he literally sat there and said, started yelling, I'm going to do whatever I want to do and you have to listen. And I'm like, nope. So I just shut my mouth, because even trying to talk to him through it triggers it. So I'm like, if that's what you're going to do, no, I'm not going to have it. So after that, that's when all this stuff started happening. Now, sorry, that was a food truck that got turned into something else. I think it was the food truck that was for shrimp. It was like the shrimp one. But anyways, it was funny because we can't have food trucks in East Shore anymore. Side note. Ooh. But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of different things that I'm getting into, that I'm figuring out for myself. There's a lot of relationship issues with people, romantic interests, different things that are going on. People that I'm learning are like unraveling, but it's not necessarily their fault. It's the cultural, environmental, economic environment that we are in right now with this whole pandemic thing. And people are understanding that the way of life that they once had is no longer. So they're freaking out and they're reacting that way, and they're trying to figure out what to do to survive. And the stuff that they were doing before is not working. And so I think that's a lot of what's going on with my brother, Eric. Because of all the stuff that he could. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next couple months, see who gets reelected, see what happens. But like I said, being a spiritualist, you don't necessarily pull in political stuff like the one lady. If you want to do political stuff, keep it to yourself. You can have your own political opinions, but don't include it with the spiritualism. Like, you can say people are still asleep, but don't blame them for being asleep, okay? You can say, yeah, it's probably better that they wake up or that they can go down the rabbit holes and find the information. But sitting there and telling them that they're, like, not awake and bashing them and stuff, like I've seen on some of the posts, is not cool, and I do not agree with that. But everybody is on their own path. So even they have to feel like they are the truth seekers and the, I don't know, the people that yell and, you know, shout from the rooftops of all the, you know, stuff that's going wrong. That's fine. But I'm just not gonna put up with it. A little, chickadee just went into the bird bath down here. It's funny. I wonder if I could see that. Hey, Andy. Oh, sorry. Yeah, she's a little chickadee thing. I don't know if it'll go down there again, but, yeah, and you can see all the freaking, my house is falling apart too, so this is all I'm dealing with, what I'm dealing with, because the house is way too, like, old and stuff. And then our all this stuff, it's like oil. I sat there one time and it put a stain on my pants, and my pants are now stained with some oil crap. So I'm like, I don't know. The rebarbs in this freaking stuff made my pants stained. It looks terrible, especially if you're a woman, if you know what I mean. But anyways, so I'm here trying to keep up the house, trying to make sure that everything's okay. Nothing's falling apart, because this house hasn't been maintained in like 6 to 7 years since I left originally, and stuff was going out. Wow, the chickadees are really talking today. But anyways, I'm gonna get off because this video is going too long, and I kind of got pulled into the whole drama that Eric was doing. So this is mainly all about that. Sorry guys. I will probably do another video a little bit later, but I was noticing I was getting depressed. I was, you know, being not good. I didn't feel good, and I know it's because I wasn't speaking my truth. Okay, so Eric is able to speak his truth. Hello, squirrel. Squirrel in tree. And I can speak my truth too, which is fine. Everybody can speak their truth if they feel like it. I know with me, if I don't speak it out and it sits there and it festers, I get sick and it starts to waylay on my health, and I can't afford that, especially when I have to help cramp and stuff like this. So I will put this out there. I mean, it's nothing, like, Eric's a good kid and he's doing the best he can. He's just he's got things he needs to sit down and really go through and realize what's going on. It's not all just one-sided like he thinks it is. To tell you the truth, it was a lot better and a lot easier when there's a guy looking at the car next door that's for sale. Don't mind my dog, he's barking at everybody. But anyways, it was a lot easier when we were kids and he didn't have all the pressures of all the other stuff that's going on, and he could actually be himself like I could be myself. When my grandmother started, you know, pressuring us and, you know, making us feel inferior for not doing and not being an adult when we should have, technically according to culture, that's when things started going weird. Plus, he also was getting an issue with his own personal relationship issues, getting in trouble that way because he had other things he has to deal with, and he's seriously got to deal with that. But he has, by being in this relationship, he's dealing with that, but then other things are coming up because it's not fully dealing with it internally, it's dealing with it by masking it with another issue. So it's kind of a twofold process. And yes, he can have his counselors and all that stuff, and I get that. But I've been with my own counselor for a very long time as well, and I haven't even scratched the surface of what I need to deal with. But I've been able to deal with it because of all this other life situations that have been a catalyst for how I can actually heal. I'm better in the kitchen. I can actually listen to sizzling meat now, and watch it and actually cook that way. Thank you to my boyfriend. You know, of, you know, 4 years for that and stuff like that, because that did help me out there. But it also has to deal with the fact that I don't have mom on my ass anymore, and my stress levels are down. Because even he was shocked that I wasn't freaking out when he was sizzling meat the other day and making it. So there's a lot of things that we have to learn, a lot of things that we have to work through, a lot of that kind of stuff. So, so anyways, that's the update. Yeah, I know I haven't done one of these updates in a while. And then, yeah, I hope nobody gets offended or anything. I mean, Eric's going to react the way Eric's going to react. I don't care. But this is how it is. And this is what's going on lately in my life. And this is what is happening in the universe and all this crazy stuff. So I hope you guys are all cool. I hope you guys are having a fun time with the new school stuff. If you decide to do homeschooling, good luck. If you decide to do half in school, half out of school, online, that's cool too. It's a new thing. Or if you decide to do whatever the other thing is that you do, private school or whatever, good luck. This is a new avenue and a new role for all of us. And hopefully we'll get a new sense of what's going on and what we're doing. Alright guys, hang in there. We're almost done with the year 2020, just a couple more months. I know the holiday seasons are going to be a little bit difficult this year, so do what you can, stay as sane as you can. I know when the snow starts to fly, we're going to feel locked down, and a lot of other things are going to come out, I think. Hopefully before that we can figure out something. Don't let the negativity and the craziness get to you. If you need to speak your truth, but speak it with love and light. Don't go bashing people because of their other views. I mean, we wouldn't all be here if we weren't here to learn about the opposites of what we believe in either, and to become aware of different things. So do your thing, but don't try to belittle or, you know, put down other people for their own things either. Like I said, like with Eric, he's got to do what he's got to do, but I will speak up and I will correct the misinterpretations that he's saying, but I do it with love and light to him. I'm not wishing him harm or anything. I'm wishing him love and light, and I hope that all gets sorted out over there. But until he can know that he's safe here and that he's not going to be dealing with his own demons in front of us, so to speak, he's got to deal with it over there as much as he can. And unfortunately, with the situation he's in, I don't know if that will happen before Grant passes. But like I said, Gramp's doing good now. He's not going to be a worry about it. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to live through the winter, so it's all good. He's not showing any signs of craziness or anything, so we'll see. Nobody knows. We could freaking pass from this world tomorrow in a car accident. Nobody knows. And the fact that Eric had liver issues last year in April, and I thought I was going to have to bury him, and he's okay now. leaves me to believe that sometimes he can actually know what to do to correct himself and to make himself feel better. And also, he knows how to manipulate people and things to say that it's worse off than it actually is. So, I mean, it's all personal view. But I'm going to be putting this out here because every time he says something and tries to put me and my brother and my father and other stuff in a bad light, that's not cool. You don't do that. We're trying to help you. And if you can't see it, that's your own fault. You have to correct that, but do not blame other people for your shortcomings. If you want to do that, that's fine. Then, you know, make your family with Renee's family and all that and deal with that. But don't come bitching to us about, you know, that we don't support you when we do. I will put a stop to that, even if everybody else will be silent, but I will not. It is part of my life road or whatever. But I just personally felt really like a slap in the face when he said that and I saw that video. After he was like, oh, I'm sorry, and all this stuff, and started apologizing. I do not like it when people go back and forth like that. And, you know, I'm working on myself as well. So I'm not innocent in any of this either, and I own that. I'm transparent. This is why I use my essential oils. This is why I get out in nature. This is why I love nature, because it recenters me. It makes me check myself and reset and rethink about, you know, what's the best policy for everybody involved. And also when I need to put up boundaries and when I need to put a stop to things that are going to, you know, hurt me and hinder me, and I don't need that. I don't need to put up with it, and I'm not going to put up with that crap. I don't care if he doesn't agree with it. That we can agree to disagree. That's the whole point of being on this planet. Agree to disagree, and nobody's going to be equal. If everybody was equal, it'd be boring. I mean, who wants boring? Nobody wants boring. Everybody wants excitement. Excitement. Whee! All right, anyway. Throat's getting dry. I'm talking too much. I need to get off. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Love, light, and blessings. Happy Saturday. And enjoy the last little bit of the nice summer days we have now. All right, see you guys later. Bye!